evening and welcome to WMLT News. I'm Jamie Lee Reichert.
And I'm Emily Gallagher.
32-year-old Donnie Atkins, who is a member of the Glasscow Volunteer Fire Department, was taken by the Beaver Creek while performing water rescues on Saturday morning. 20 divers are searching the waters of 2 Raleigh County creeks, but for a 4th day in a row, no trace of the missing man.
After harsh flooding last week, recovery is now in process. But amidst all the recent damage, there is a lot of work to be done. Raleigh and Fayette counties were hit hard this weekend, with up to 2 victims dead and a firefighter still missing. 16 homes were completely destroyed in Raleigh County alone, and several more with major damage. Many businesses were flooded, including Mab Scott Fire Department, which had about 18 inches of water inside the building. Officials are working to quickly clean up debris from streams and creeks before more problems arise.
The Upper Guyandotte Watershed Association is working with Winding Gulf Restoration Organization to restore a historic Cole Camp baseball field in Helen, West Virginia. Rachel Lucas was there to find out more about the initiative.
The Upper Guyandotte Watershed Association is working toward restoring a historic Cole Camp baseball field in Helen, West Virginia. The project started 5 years ago. The restoration could be getting a $250,000 home run from the Pepsi Refresh contest online. Randolph Greer, president of the Winding Gulf Restoration Organization, says that although there aren't many people in Helen now, the town was highly populated when it was mining coal.
It's hard to believe now that there were thousands upon thousands of people who lived in this area.
For the past 5 years, Greer's played a key role in restoring the historic Cole Camp baseball field just feet away from the town's only post office. While driving by the field, you may notice that behind all of the brush piles, an old railroad track and stream lay beside it, but there are no signs of any mound, bases, or a diamond.
Although this open field may not look like much now, Helen residents who grew up here say it's more than what meets the eye. I'm actually standing on what used to be home plate of the historic Cole Camp baseball field.
But I remember coming here as about a 4 or 5 year old, and they had bleachers set up in 3 positions here. And we sat in the bleachers and watched a league ball game of some kind.
Restoring this field will make it more than just a historic site. The baseball field is planned to be regulation size so that Little League teams from Helen and Beckley can play here.
It's a nice field. It's very solid. It never floods, even though it has some mud puddles here and there. This is a field that can easily be restored.
Lily Kay, the development coordinator for the Upper Guyandotte Watershed Association, says her organization decided to partner up with the Winding Gulf Restoration Organization in restoring the field. All improvements to the field thus far are from donations, so both groups are looking for another major source of income for the project. Kay says that she found out about the Pepsi Refresh contest, which is a new grant that Pepsi is offering.
This year they're giving away $1.3 million to different communities, and we'd like to be one of them.
This project is up against nearly 300 other projects nationwide and has been accepted into the competition for the 2nd straight month. The competition is based off of online votes that anyone can log on to and vote for daily. Kay says their project sits at about the 140th spot, which is about halfway to first.
The main thing is, if you care about Southern West Virginia, if you care about the coal fields, if you're proud of your heritage, please vote for this idea. It encompasses, the community bonds and the heritage that the Southern coal fields really have.
The competition ends March 31st and the winner will be announced April 1st. For WMLT News, I'm Rachel Lucas in Helen.
And now with the latest news from Campus Beautiful, we send it over to Wes McKinney with the Concord Minute.
Thanks, guys. Join the Tau Kappa Epsilon fraternity on March 21st at 10 a.m. as they do their 11th annual Polar Bear Plunge at Bluestone Lake. The fraternity is jumping into the water to support the Ronald Reagan Alzheimer's Association. The Alzheimer's Association is the fraternity's national philanthropy. People can donate $5 to promote awareness, but if you donate, you don't have to jump. Concord students are often complaining about a lack of parking on campus. A recent investigation shows that about 1,700 parking passes were given out so far this semester, but there are only about 1,400 total parking spaces on and around the campus. However, campus police say that there are extra parking passes don't mean there is a parking issue because not all students are at school at the same time every day. We hope everyone has had a great spring break as we get back to school, and don't get too distracted by the nice weather because finals are right around the corner. That's it for the Concord Minute. Now back to you guys.
The FBI is finding new ways to solve the biggest art theft in history. The artwork was stolen from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum on March 18th of 1990. There were 13 works of art worth about $500 million. These works include 3 Rembrandts, a Monet, and a Vermeer, and 5 sketches by Degas. The robbery was pulled off by 2 men dressed as Boston police officers. The FBI is placing billboards in the Boston area announcing a reward of $5 million. Authorities are offering freedom of prosecution and confidentiality in exchange of the stolen artwork.
Stay tuned after the break for the latest movie reviews with Take It or Leave It.
And the WMLT Sports News.
And now, with Take It or Leave It, we have Jamie Lee.
Over the break, I've had the chance to check out some new movies. The one that caught the most attention was Alice in Wonderland 3D. Out of all the movies I've seen this year, Alice in Wonderland 3D blows them all away. Alice returns to Wonderland that has people questioning if she is the right Alice. This movie is action-packed and filled with comedy. Have you any idea why a raven is like a writing desk? Watch this movie to see if you can come to terms with it yourself. Another movie that has recently hit theaters is She's Out of My League. This movie is about a girl who is a 10 in all men's eyes that falls for a guy who is lucky enough to be considered a 5. It's a romantic comedy that I encourage everyone to go see. Another movie that hit theaters recently is Shutter Island. It's set in 1954, and an up-and-coming U.S. Marshal, Teddy Daniels, is assigned to investigate a disappearance of a patient from Boston's Shutter Island Ashcliffe Hospital. Daniels has been wanting an assignment on the island for personal reasons, but as time goes on, he wonders whether he hasn't been brought to this island as part of a twisted plot by hospital doctors, whose insane treatments range from unethical to illegal and even sinister. While detecting at the hospital, he runs into problems such as the hospital won't grant him any access to any records, and a hurricane cuts off communication. I won't tell you what happens, but you're definitely wanting to go see this movie. That's it for Take It or Leave It. Back to you at the desk.
And now for this week's sports, we have James Tunstall.
Thanks, guys. In Concord sports, we go to the track. Over spring break, the men's and women's track team visited Myrtle Beach to participate in the Coastal Carolina Invitational. While down there, they set 5 school records. The most impressive record setting was done by Shawnee Carnett. The freshman finished first in the 800-meter run in 2 minutes and 14.18 seconds. She set the top time in the 800 for the nation this season. Also, this time is good enough for qualifying for nationals. Concord also set records in both the men's and women's 4x200 and 4x800 relay. The track team's next meet is at Wake Forest this weekend. As for Concord baseball, over the break, they traveled to Georgia for a tournament, winning 3 games and losing 1. 2 of these wins included victories over California University of Pennsylvania, which gives the Lions some regional wins. The team has canceled 4 games due to conditions of the field. Baseball's record stands at 3-1. The women's softball team went to Florida over the break, winning 4 and losing 1. The team only got to play 5 out of the 8 games scheduled due to a 2-day storm. The Lady Lions play Glenville State this weekend. then traveled to Kentucky for 2 games over the weekend. Their record is 8-9. Well, that's all for Concord Sports. For more information, visit cumountainlions.com. In Division I play, West Virginia University men's basketball team won the Big East Conference, give them a 2nd seed in the NCAA tournament. The Mountaineers kick off the tournament against the 15th seed Morgan State. WVU's women's basketball team, a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, paired with 14 seed Lamar for their opening game. That's all for sports. Back to you at the desk.
On February 29th, Concord University held their 2010 Founders Day, celebrating the 138th year since they received their charter on February 28th in 1872. Awards were given out, including the Teaching Award given by Dr. Laura Miller, Scholarship Creativity Award given to Dr. Kwan, Faculty Service Award given to Dr. Kevin Beanton, Staff Service Award given to Ms. Sarah Dalton, and the Student Servant Award given to Carly Stout. Study abroad will make the textbook come alive for students as mere words are turned into sights and sounds, smells, and human contact. Concord faculty will be the university's educational lesson as they prepare to teach in Russia, Rome, and India. A special guest who was also recognized was Dr. Gupta, who is the president of the American Association of Indian Origin. He has sponsored each student from Concord University that traveled to India to study medicine at the Mahatma Gandhi Medical College and Hospital. Concord University is broadening its international opportunities and is very excited about its future with India and the medical frontier.
Airport travelers will notice a few new type of security that will change the way people are searched. The full body scanner is one of 150 of its kind that were purchased with federal stimulus dollars. This machine will be showcased at the nation's 2nd busiest airport, the Chicago O'Hare International Airport. The new scanner has raised many opinions, some positive and some negative. Critics are concerned that the scanners are too revealing and invade people's privacy. Recently, 2 Muslim women were kicked out of the airport because they would not go through the scanner. The reason they would not go through the scanner was because they are too revealing, and that went against their religious beliefs. On the other hand, the supporters say that this is a necessary measure to keep our country and flights safe. They claim that the scanners not only show an outline of the flight figures, not details. What you can see clearly, though, is if the person is hiding something on their bodies. Only time will tell if scanners become commonplace in all U.S. airports. From me and the whole WMLT crew, thank you for joining us again. I'm Jamie Lee Reichert.
Make sure you tune back in 2 weeks for more WMLT news. I'm Emily Gallagher.